Broadcasting live from the orbiting underground moon base, it's the LRRcast.
Every part of that is impossible, James.
I think we say the Loading Ready Run orbiting underground moon base.
Broadcasting
You also
live
got
from
it
the
wrong.
Loading Ready Run orbiting under.
We're doing it live.
Yeah.
Or do it live.
F it. We're doing it
Never
live.
mind that you're
We've already used
Yes.
we've already used the wrong one, so it's
That
not
was
big.
live.
now.
That was live.
All right.
Okay. Hey guys, it is the LRRcast. I'm
Hello.
James.
I'm Cameron.
I'm Alex.
I'm Paul.
Graham and Kathleen are out of town this week, so you are
Idiot.
stuck with us.
We've
You
already
get-
sold all the other equipment.
You get to have us as being the host.
You
here.
have the privilege.
We've sold literally we've sold every single piece of anything that exists within this office. I don't actually know if these mics are connected to anything.
Yeah. Except
We-
for those 3 pictures behind us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
This is
yeah.
a facade.
Although, as
And
it turns-
apparently this iMac because nobody wanted to buy it.
No.
How?
also, as it turns out, a surprisingly large amount of the equipment in the moon base was fake.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of cardboard.
So we don't actually know if Graham and Kathleen are coming back at all.
Or if this is actually some weird experiment.
Yeah,
Ooh, yeah,
it's
that's
possibly
true.
a front or an experiment.
Yeah, you can get those things that the department stores have to like demonstrate what a computer would look like on
Yeah, on a desk.
a desk or something.
Yeah,
There's like
that's-
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
basically
like-
what we have everywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe this was nothing.
They're just plastic shells.
Yeah, maybe this was nothing, but I tried to ask someone for directions, and they were a cardboard cutout.
What a jerk.
I know.
Right? It's weird. This is like the 5th time it's happened this week.
Yeah, like just one of those situations where everyone who's left over looks awkwardly at each other, knowing that we're all the ones who got faked out. Reminds me of the short story I read in elementary school where a plague comes and kills everyone, except it starts with the highest IQ people and works their way down.
Ooh.
Wow.
You think
Wow.
And
So-
eventually, like after 6 months, it's just people looking at each other going,
Wow.
we're all the stupid ones. We're all that's left.
Wow.
And there's nothing we can
So-
do.
But so you're thinking that would be in like kind of a Truman Show style thing where everything is actually
Ooh,
set
yeah,
up.
Set up. Yep.
We are on an island,
Yeah.
That's true. We are on an island.
We are on an
Wow.
island.
Who
Never
knows
thought
what
about
happens when we get on that ferry? You know?
Well, we go to Vancouver, which is kind
Everybody
of like
just-
escaping the Truman Show.
Everybody on the island is just everybody can just be like, whew, finally. Okay.
That's what it looks like when we get on the ferry.
It's an
But like the
illusion.
ferry could easily just be like taking us out around and back.
Do
We
you
wouldn't know.
actually have any memories of Vancouver?
No, I don't actually.
No, but like it takes us out around and back, and then we go to like the Vancouver back
So
lot.
it takes
Who
it
do
takes
you
90
visit in
minutes to do
Vancouver?
that. Oh, okay, I see.
Where do you go?
Yeah.
What are their phone numbers? What is the address? You don't.
Yeah.
None of these memories are yours.
I don't remember getting there.
Anyway,
don't
This
remember
podcast is taking a
leaving.
weird turn. You guys want to answer some questions?
No.
Well, too freaking bad.
we have
Wah, wah.
too many questions already.
No,
We have okay.
can we just ponder existential dread for a while
so
longer?
no, we cannot.
Okay.
I asked you guys for some questions on Twitter. I apologize. It occurs to me that I think about 2 weeks ago I asked you for questions on Twitter, and we never actually recorded that LRRcast. So apologies if you gave us questions.
I guess we can't go back that far.
I could probably go back that far, but I'm lazy.
Keep them fresh.
Yeah,
All right.
we'll keep them fresh. So
Fooled you.
Chris asks, if money was no question, what one item would you want to purchase for Loading Ready Run?
James Dakimakura.
No.
Rail set for tracking shots.
I mean, we
There-
kind of have that.
There's
You mean the skateboard?
No, we have a dolly rig with the
There's-
big long
it's a huge
pipes and
pain in the
stuff.
butt
It's
to set up.
it's a giant pain in the ass.
but on that thing, I think it's called Movi. It's basically they took the rig they took the rig that they put on helicopter cameras,
Right, right.
like helicopter
The
drone
gyro
cameras.
stabilized. Yeah.
So the 3-axis gyro stabilizer, they took it off that and just put it onto like a rig that you can hold.
Right.
And basically made like a super steady cam with it. Some of the demo videos I've seen of it are just like crazy. Like it's just like going through at a convention, like going through just like going through people and stuff. and going around things and stuff, and then it goes to like another camera filming what's actually going on, and it's actually being like passed from person to person as it goes,
And you
it's
just don't notice?
completely smooth.
Wow.
It's
Pretty
super
cool.
sweet,
And
and it's
I-
only like $10,000 or so.
I'm gonna go big and say a sound stage.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
I mean,
just
money's no object. Like, let's go big.
well, I guess I didn't really call that like equipment, but
It's a thing.
Yeah, it
that
does say
costs
one
money
thing
to acquire.
It,
Could we
it
say
says,
a crew?
does say no. It says one
say
item.
talent?
It says one item.
No, like carpenters, all that kind of stuff. People who build sets
There's an
and-
easy way around this.
What's that?
A preloaded credit card with $100 million on it.
like a
Big
red,
cheese.
like
win.
or maybe like a red Epic or something.
Sure. Yeah. A nice.
But do we need better cameras? I think we have. Like,
I feel like our camera situation is actually.
it's kind
I mean,
of a solved problem.
it's-
Like, what
it's-
don't we have?
Yeah, actually,
that
the
we wouldn't
problem is with if we had an Epic, then we would need actually somewhere to store all that
footage,
That
yeah.
just opens up a whole other can of problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
what about a quadcopter?
Quadcopter would be
That
pretty
would be
sweet.
pretty cool.
Although quadcopters aren't
Dibs
that
on
like
drone pilot.
they're not like that crazy expensive. Like you can get reasonably priced.
It's like,
quadcopters,
Cam,
so.
you took off the camera and put on a pair of Stinger missiles.
Those are Hellfire missiles.
Oh, my bad.
And
They have a
they're-
broader range of warheads.
They're for research
These are
purposes.
thermobaric
All right. Next up,
for use on soft targets.
Brandon asks, "What phone do you have, and would you recommend it?" I have an iPhone 5, and I would recommend you wait until the iPhone 6 comes out. Cam,
I have a now relatively elderly iPhone 4S, and I like him just fine. Although I don't know if you can still get
you
them.
can actually.
Really?
Yep. The iPhone 4S is still a phone that you can get. Alex,
I have a Samsung Galaxy something or other. It's not amazing. I mean, it gets the job done. The battery lasts a long time, but it's starting to show its age because it's like acting up.
There's the whole like not being able to make phone calls except by shouting really loudly.
Yeah. Oh well, the microphone is busted, so that's a drag.
but that's not actually.
I don't think that's a
the fault of
design
the phone.
flaw. I think I may have poured Coke on it.
well, that'll do it. Paul,
Well, I also have an iPhone 5, and I fully intend to get the 6 when it comes out. So
Right.
it's coming out theoretically in like September
in
or
a
something.
month, basically.
But yeah, I mean, aside from the fact that I am deeply invested in the iOS ecosystem now in terms of accessories and apps and so forth, I just the iOS operating system seems to work really well for me. I occasionally there's some stuff I see on Android that'd be like, oh, that'd be cool to do.
Yeah.
But the stuff I do also see a lot of stuff about things that would make it more of a pain in the butt. So
Yeah.
So there you have it, folks. Loading Ready Run, largely indifferent to our essentially magical supercomputing devices.
Honestly,
Connect us to limitless information.
yeah. I mean, put a phone in my hand that isn't slow and connects to the internet, and I'll probably won't care really.
yeah,
Like,
I mean,
mainly this-
90% of what you use it for is like web surfing, email,
Twitter.
Email.
Not even like my phone is a like text message, phone, Twitter, Reddit. That's like probably 95% of what I use my phone
Yeah,
for.
mine is largely like Twitter, text message, and iPod.
And iPod. Yeah, mine is also
like
an iPod
the
occasionally.
actual phone, the telephony part of my phone is basically vestigial at this point.
Telephony.
Yeah. Can play games asks, what console not in the streaming office would you like to see make a home there?
Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo.
Dreamcast.
There's one
Ooh,
down,
Dreamcast,
there's a
yeah.
Super Nintendo downstairs.
Yeah, I think we have access to a Super Nintendo. A Dreamcast would be pretty sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering,
Well-
there's lots of cool games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Super Nintendo. I saw a thing the other day. Actually, it's like the retro something 5. It's like a Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Famicom, Super Famicom, and Genesis, and I think that's it. And maybe Master System as well.
Mhm.
But it's basically all those things. And so it's just like this box that has like 4 or 5 slots in the top and has like all the ports for the controllers. But the big thing is it's got then HDMI output.
Which is
Oh, wow.
sweet. Yeah.
Right.
So, because the problem is, we can convert from like RCA pretty well, but once you start getting into the like the cable connector,
Yeah.
like some of those really old systems have, it
Like
becomes
the antenna connectors for like
Yeah.
the Atari.
then we have to do the same
Yeah.
thing as we do for Desert Bus, where we have to like run it through
A camera.
VCR.
run
Or
it through VCR,
yeah.
Oh,
which is a
right.
pain in the butt.
Yeah. Chris asks, are any of the Lure crew smokers? No.
Nope. You can just say cloves.
Cloves. I smoke Jarums sometimes. I haven't for a really long
What is
time.
Jaro?
Yeah, like you're not a...
Jarum is the brand.
nobody on the crew is like a pack or 2 packs a day kind of smoker.
No.
Like nobody is like that.
I was once a pack every 2 weeks
Sure.
kind of smoker.
That's the highest you ever got. So
Yeah.
And ash vapes now, but
yes.
That sounds
Ash
weird.
vapes.
I just imagine her like dissolving into a cloud of smoke and then appearing somewhere else.
That is largely the visual effect, yes.
Cool.
What's the world of dead trees?
the what?
What have
it's
you been up to lately in the world of dead trees?
like books?
Oh,
of course, yeah.
I've been reading the Culture series for like a year now because school took over my life for a long time. I
Everyone-
like it a lot.
I've been reading lots of comics, but I've been reading them on my iPad, so it's not really a dead tree.
Cam loaned me a bunch of Culture Series books that I've been meaning to get into. I will really try.
Paul?
Yeah.
My in terms of dead tree stuff, my brother is currently in Italy. He's working there, and he sent me for my birthday. He sent me a compilation comic of this, what is apparently a very popular Italian comic. This guy called Dylan Dog, he's like a paranormal detective, and this is like a translated anthology of Dylan Dog stories, and it's one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, no comic authority in in
Right.
Europe, and it's like, a horror comic is actually pretty freaky. And
cool.
there's horrible blood everywhere.
All right, then.
Like, also, in
But it's-
anticipation of one podcast I've been doing with Alex, I've been doing a bit of research, like skimming through Golden Bough for the good parts. Right? But
Yeah, I guess we'll have
reading
to do
for
that next
pleasure is
week.
just like, the Culture series.
But yeah, I'm mostly reading on my electronic devices these days.
Yeah.
Shiggy.
Who are your personal comedy heroes?
Oh, wow.
Um,
George Carlin?
George Carlin. I mean,
Bill Hicks.
Bill Hicks, Robin Williams. So kind of a shitty week.
Yeah.
That one hit me hard.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
not prepared, and I was not we were in line for the Coho when we found out, coming back from the GP last weekend, when we found out what had happened, and yeah, that sucked.
It was
Like I didn't react when Graham said it, but it just stewed the whole day, and I was like, man, this is
The
it was
worst.
so
fucking the worst.
it was so weird, like for me, because I was actually like streaming, and people just like in the
Oh,
chat
God,
started
yeah.
talking
Like,
about it, and I was like playing, I was sort of goofing around in the stream and stuff, and so I didn't really talk about it too much because it was sort of a didn't seem appropriate.
No.
But yeah, it's tough, especially the way it happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's seriously sucky.
It's hard to not feel touched by that.
Yeah.
But and other people, Stephen Fry, also
Sure.
Oh,
incredibly
yes.
funny guy.
Right, sorry.
Also-
How could I forget Stephen Fry?
I mean,
Also possibly in danger of the same kind of. He's well known as a manic depressive. but
I watched.
unfortunately, that seems to be the comedy curse.
yeah.
Just like to be really funny, you have to be kind of screwed up.
And for that matter, Hugh Laurie as well,
Yeah,
Rowan
Hugh Laurie.
Atkinson,
Yeah.
all those wonderful British comedians.
Yeah.
I guess the whole Python crew gets in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I guess you probably don't have an opportunity to see it anymore, but the Monty Python like live thing. I mean, they must be actually going to release that on DVD or something at some point.
Yeah.
But the Monty Python, like they just did a reunion show. That it's called Monty Python 1 down, 5 to go.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Miss you, Graham Chapman.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, actually, for that matter, Graham Chapman, of all the Pythons, some of his stuff is just amazing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I had a couple just like ones that I almost completely forgot about. Eddie Izzard,
Yep.
Dylan Moran,
Yep.
Bill Bailey. There was one more.
What are some like? Okay, so I'm trying to think of more like.
What about like
North
contemporaries?
I'm trying to think more like North
Contemporary.
American,
Oh, okay.
like move away from the UK, like
I enjoy
Louis
Louis
C.K.
C.K.
Yeah, Louis
I-
C.K.
Not really like comedy in the other modes that we've been talking about, but Jon Stewart, I think, is
John Stewart's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
It's,
yeah, the most vitally
It's kind
important
of
comedy.
would be. I think it would be silly to overlook Seinfeld. That dude is just a phenom when it comes to.
Patton Oswalt.
I've never heard that outside of wrestling.
Have you watched his show, his web series,
Oh,
Comedians in
the-
Cars Getting Coffee?
Yeah, the one with Jon Stewart was actually super good.
It was very good. But if you have not watched Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, go watch it. It's 4 seasons long. There's like between 4 and like 10 episodes per season, and it's basically just it is what it sounds like. It's Seinfeld driving around a cool classic car because he's a car guy.
Yep.
Picking up
I like
his
where-
random comedian friends and just taking them for coffee and driving around whatever town they're in, and they just talk, and it's like 20 minutes.
Speaking of driving, do you think the Top Gear crew counts as comedians? I think so.
I mean,
a little bit.
Unless-
They're
they
not
ki-
like
they
specifically
kind of are-
comedians.
I would put them more as presenters.
Yeah,
rather
they're
than comedians.
incidentally
I mean,
funny.
they're incredible and they're hilarious. But yeah, I don't know if I'd put them in the same sort. Like they're not stand-up comics. They've never really done that sort of thing. But they are funny dudes.
Yeah, I mean it's.
There are a lot of people out there. Like there are a lot of really funny, really
It's
awesome.
What I love about Jon Stewart is every once in a while when somebody tries to, when like some other show, like a conservative show or whatever tries to like catch him on something or
Yeah.
tries to make fun of him about something, and it's like, guys, you realize that one, he's one of the most talented comedians working today.
Yeah.
2, he's backed up by one of the best and funniest writing teams.
Yeah.
And he's going to have a whole day to write something to respond to what you're doing.
Yeah.
To this sort of off the cuff comment that you
Yeah.
did. You have no chance.
Yeah. Just walk away.
Walk away.
Walk away.
Well, I also really like watching him when he actually goes on somebody else's show, and they're expecting,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
lol, funny Jon Stewart.
Yeah, and he just brings his
like-
A game and he's just like, bam.
He just slams him
eviscerates
down.
them.
He not only is he like one of the funniest men alive, he's also incredibly intelligent, and he knows what's going on, and he knows how to talk about basically any topic
That's
that's
always
sort
a
of.
great combination. It's
Yo, yeah. Funny
I
and
mean,
smart is.
I've been
good
really
combo.
enjoying John Oliver's
John Oliver's show.
show. I mean,
fantastic.
I've only been watching it on YouTube.
Yeah,
But his like in-depth
yeah, like
takedowns of things.
15, 20-minute long
it's just
segments.
brutal.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that always impressed me about Jon Stewart was just the fact that when he gets guests on the show, and sometimes he gets 5 people on the show per week who have released a new book,
Yep.
and he has read them all
Yeah.
and can talk with command.
Yeah, about every single one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that man does that.
That I don't know. That's just a very quiet, subtle display of
Yeah.
huge intellectual power.
yeah.
All right. Moving on, we've talked about a lot of people there. JJ says, "Is Dwarf Fortress really worth the time?" I'm still debating on it.
I worry
let
about getting
alone
into
figure it
Dwarf
out.
Fortress because I like fell into a Minecraft hole many times in the past, and I feel like
It is almost like a predecessor to Minecraft.
yeah,
in
I
some
feel
ways.
like it's similar, only like even more granular and like even less graphical fidelity.
So you're saying not worth the time?
No, I feel like I might avoid that because I feel like you would
That-
never hear from me again.
It's
All right.
precisely calibrated, like, or precision targeted.
Yeah,
on
it's like
exactly
there's
what
some
we-
things that like I try to not get into. It's just like, you don't do needle drugs, right? Because you don't
Right.
want to get screwed up.
All right. Dean, does Senpai notice you?
Actually, Senpai noticed me the other day, Lindsay Small. And I was just like, "Ee!" I had one of those fanboy moments on Twitter.
Nice.
That's just my thing.
I think I am senpai at this point. in my life.
Senpai.
Yeah, you kind of are, aren't you?
Truly, each and every one of us is
It's
a senpai
senpai.
to someone.
Yeah.
The real question is, who aren't you noticing?
Ooh.
that's deep.
All right, this is an interesting question. Lindsay would like a recommendation for a watching order for all of our videos
Oh,
who
God.
hasn't seen them, as 45 pages is a lot for the uninitiated. You're not wrong there.
Well,
Start on one of the
So,
good
okay,
seasons.
so for one thing, that
first-
45 pages is
everything.
Yeah.
You'll notice up at the top of the page is a whole bunch of little buttons which will filter per series that we've done. So, I mean, we're the Loading Ready Run sketches. That's kind of our thing, right? So I think you start there. But you don't need to start at the very beginning.
No, I don't think you should. I think you should start somewhere, I don't know, maybe
It's-
roughly the middle.
yeah. I mean, we've
And then if you're into it, go back and see where we came from.
Sure.
we've experienced we've had this before that I think actually probably people on our forums or other fans and stuff are probably better equipped to
Yeah, to explain
sort of
how to
say
watch
or
movies.
just to sort of have which are the best.
Yeah. I also, like cherry picking
Videos.
the videos is probably a good idea. Just like ask for people's recommendations, watch them. If you like them, then like start mining through our back catalog.
I
Yeah.
mean, I would love to see a fan. I mean, this is something you guys could do on the forums. Is a fan curated list of the top 10, like your favorite
Top
10.
top 50, top 100.
No, I was gonna. Well,
mean-
I was gonna say your top 10 from each season,
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's
right? Because
like,
there's 52 episodes, 52 sketches a season, basically, because seasons are mostly a year. There are a weird little.
I mean, I
Stuff
would
in
be
there at some
I would
point,
be
but-
curious to see if there was sort of a top 10 either of each season or in all, how much overlap there would be.
Well, I would say curate it, right? Like everybody puts their list in, and then be like, okay, this one showed up.
Yeah,
6
exactly.
times,
But,
so it's
I'd
gonna
be curious
number
to see whether it would be people would reach a sort of a consensus on it fairly quickly. Whether there are how much it is just the preference and of the people watching, or whether there are whether there's sort of
I feel like
definitively
there
better.
I feel like there are definitively better.
I think there
sketches,
are.
and
Definitely.
I feel like our fans would probably reach a fairly similar conclusions in terms of what videos they feel are better than others. Like, I think if you ask somebody what their top 10 favorite videos from last year were, there would be probably a decent amount of overlap. Like, I think a lot of
there would be
people would.
consensus.
Yeah, I think there would be
And I mean-
consensus, and
and we
probably
have-
pretty quick.
Yeah, and I mean, there's like the videos that we submitted to the
Film festivals and stuff like that,
stuff
which
might
are
be-
ones that, I mean, like over the years we've gone through and picked out, like, I know for when we launched the Kickstarter, we showed a video for each season up until season 10, and that was fun to go through. We went through every single video basically. We looked over that wiki and weere like, okay,
We
which
started
ones are we
doing
gonna
that
pick?
for Loading Ready Live or the LRRcon as well.
Yes.
But then we ran out of time.
Well, mine weren't like the videos because I wrote all
Those
of that.
are sort of representative. They weren't actually like
they were
the best.
representative and just fun little videos that I personally thought were kind of fun to point out. Not necessarily the best, but I mean, like, there are a couple videos that I think if you were to make like a top 10 list of all our videos, there are some videos that just have to go in there. Like Son of a Bitch is going to be in there, and it's going to be high on that list, right?
Like the couch probably goes high.
I could see the couch making it pretty high on the list. I,
mean,
could
I
see
guess
it. I could see Toast making it very high on that list.
The ideal thing, I mean, except for videos that are sort of explicitly in a series, I would hope that you could sort of, you could kind of show somebody your favorites, your personal favorites, and kind of dabble around a little bit, but you can sort of watch them in pretty much any order you want.
Right.
And it's just, you can get more and more, sort of deeper and deeper into the
Yeah.
archives. And that's probably the best way to do it. I remember when I first came across like Homestar Runner or something, right? Where you again, they had
A million things.
a whole ton of things.
Yeah.
And so you sort of watch a couple and you're like, okay, I kind of get what's going on here. And then as you sort of watch more, you kind of more and more and more, you kind of get more into it. So
Well,
So-
yeah, like
that's probably the ideal circumstance.
Yeah.
I just had a similar experience last year when a friend asked me who had never seen TNG before
Right.
for like
Where to start?
yeah, top 10 list, and
Oh.
I couldn't right away. Like I figured out what my favorite episodes were, and then I realized that what I was actually doing was giving her a list of the top 10 Picard episodes. Like the episodes where Picard is just right about something.
Sure.
And it's also
And
yeah,
I was
it's
leaving out, like I
There was
published a
only
list.
10 of them.
I published the list, and people were like, you're missing out on this episode that was really important for Data or for LaForge or for Riker.
Right.
And I was like,
You're
yes,
like,
it
I
turns
don't
out
care
that
about
this is
those
the Picard
guys.
list.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe finding a theme for it.
All right. So I mean, okay. So what list would we want? Top 5 from each season and a top 10 overall, or do we want more than a 10?
10 videos.
Sorry,
That's
maybe
that's a
15.
tall
I mean,
order.
there's and we're talking just the sketches. So we're not talking feed dumps or even Commodore Hustles.
Does rapid fire count?
No, rapid fire doesn't count. Well, I guess rapid fire could count, but I don't think rapid fire would
I
work.
feel like you take that out of the running just because otherwise it
Yeah,
stacks
I'm
the vote
I'm
weirdly.
talking like just the regular like weekly sketches, excluding Commodore Hustle episodes, because I think those kind of are in their own category.
Yeah.
So like top 5 from each year and a top 10 overall. Can we charge
that
them
could be
with this?
interesting. Yeah.
All
We
right,
should also have like
do it.
James, we should
Yeah.
also have a bottom 5.
Ooh, a bottom 5 would be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's like the what were we thinking videos.
I would love to
Just
see.
do
Yeah,
not work.
I would love to see it. Your bottom 5. Yeah,
How many of those are X ways to Y?
Maybe not.
none of them should
Those
be.
are actually pretty
I feel
consistently
like
good.
I feel like a couple of the X ways to Y would rank pretty high.
Maybe
Right.
not. Maybe not the bottom 5 for every season.
Not for every season. No, overall.
Yeah.
I'd be
Okay.
interested to see. What
Okay,
that
so
is.
top 5 for every season, top 5 or top 10 overall, and then top or bottom 5 overall. Okay, that's what we want you to work on, because I think
I'm
that would be.
excited to
I think
see
that would be
this.
really
It's like-
fun. Yeah,
I'm way more.
That's a lot of
interested in
work.
Bottom 5.
yeah. We don't have to do it. I'm telling them to do it.
Somebody's gonna be like Johnny 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hate that so much.
Yeah, that guy was annoying. Okay, moving on. We gotta get back to these.
Yarp.
What were the best or worst movies you have ever seen?
Ever seen?
Go on.
Oh, give me a genre to work within.
The worst movie, one of the worst movies I ever saw was the Alien versus Predator movie. That
Oh my
was
god,
bad.
it was so bad.
Okay, I read the best comment on that. And you know the shot at the end where the main character and the Predator are running away from the explosion
Yep.
in slow motion? They said you could basically dub over the sound of a flushing toilet. that shot, and like it would work
still
a
work.
1,000 times better.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, worst movie. I saw Battlefield Earth in theaters. Does that count?
Yeah, I mean that was a pretty bad movie, but it wasn't like it wasn't
It was actually Battlefield Earth was weird.
pretty inoffensive in my opinion.
Well, that's the thing though. Like Battlefield Earth, it was bad in a way that really confused me because it was like a sci-fi action movie,
Yeah,
which it shouldn't be possible to go that far wrong with it. It's like there are lots of fighting and explosions, sure, whatever. But for some reason, as I was watching it, I was just like, what's going on here? This is just not good at all. I'm really bored.
That is such a hard question for me to answer
Yeah.
because like there's movies that I've been very disappointed with. Like Prometheus jumps to the top of that list.
Right.
But like
It's not
there's-
objectively worse.
no, it's not
than-
objectively like the worst movie ever made. Not
Well,
even by a little
objectively,
bit. But and then there's movies that are like so atrocious that they're incidentally hilarious, and it's just like if I can enjoy that, it can't be that bad.
yeah.
It's like you have
That's
to
fair.
find that very careful balance between like I don't know.
What about
Yeah, like,
okay?
I-
How about good movies?
yeah.
I've seen countless good movies. Like stick me in a theater, and as long as it has Marvel Studios on the front of it, I'm gonna be happy when
Actually,
I leave.
my windmill
Like-
slam for this list is usually Pixar's The Incredibles.
Yeah,
Like
almost.
the movie's basically perfect.
Pixar's Incredibles is very good.
I would rank Wall-E personally, but
Yeah, I like some
I
other Pixar
really like
movies
that
better
movie.
than Incredible.
I actually like the first half of that movie. And the
In
second
terms
half
of
is-
other animated movies, more recently, I've been less impressed with Pixar the last couple of years, and been more impressed with like the guys who've been making like Wreck-It Ralph, the Lego
Yeah.
Movie, How to Train Your Dragon,
Mm-hmm.
the stupid spaghetti meatball movie. I can't remember the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Thank you. There it is.
It's just the slow mo of a guy eating.
Yeah, it's spaghetti. Yeah. But like those,
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs
like-
is actually pretty fun.
it was very fun. All 4 of those movies I just listed have been excellent, and some more than others. Like Wreck-It Ralph and the Lego Movie, probably like my 2 favorite animated films in the last like decade. Like they're so good, like so good.
Yeah, I mean, my typical answer for favorite movie, I've answered the same thing for many years, so I don't know if I need to reevaluate it, but at the moment anyway, I have 3 movies that I consider to be like my favorite movies that I can watch over and over again, and movies that if I am friends with somebody who hasn't seen those movies, I'm like, oh shit, you got to see this. And those are Princess Bride.
Yep.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And The Imposters.
Sure.
Which is the weird one that nobody else or people don't really know.
Actually,
but
I think
it's on Netflix now. You should totally watch it. The
Oh,
Imposters with Oliver Platt and Stanley Tucci.
It's
Yeah.
very
It is
good.
incredibly funny.
Yeah.
I think I have 2 movies to add to that list to bring myself up with Paul. With Nail and I, great acid test to see whether or not you can be friends with somebody. And Drunken Master, the first one.
Ooh,
I have watched that movie so many times, it's ridiculous.
Is that's not Legend of the Drunken?
No,
like,
not Drunken Master 2, which was released as Legend of Drunken Master,
Right.
which is also a phenomenal movie. But
also on Netflix. By
but the
Yes.
first Drunken Master is so good, and I insist on watching the dub because it's so shitty. It's just like, it's amazing. The movie's so good.
Well, okay, personally for the bad movies, I tend not to actually go out of my way to see bad movies, and when I do, they don't make enough of a lasting impression
That
on
you
me.
remember?
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm like,
Yeah, that's fair.
I've seen some really horrible movies this year. Like, no, can't
I
do it.
don't
Yeah,
remember.
exactly.
Like, disappointing movies are another thing entirely, like Prometheus, I guess Alien Resurrection.
Oh, wow.
There's lots of movies that let you down, but
Because
you know,
you're
the-
like, it could have been good. It had
Yeah.
everything it needed to.
yeah,
And just
even
couldn't stick
among
the landing.
those, I want interesting failures. I think like an interesting failure is much more interesting to talk about than
Oh, yeah.
just a bad movie.
Yeah.
Great movies, God, where do you even start? I would need more time to come up with a list. But like movies that I've seen recently that I really liked were Tim's Vermeer and Jodorowsky's Dune.
Oh, man.
Tim's Vermeer, I actually saw a little while ago, and that's very interesting. Crazy.
Yeah.
For those of you who aren't familiar with them, they're documentaries about people basically trying to embark on big artistic endeavors
and then face
either
planting.
or succeeding
Oh,
in ways that make them feel weird.
Vermeer, Tim's Vermeer, I mean, he succeeded.
Yeah, he was entirely successful.
crazy.
It just sucked.
Well, maybe it did or maybe it didn't, right?
Well, I mean,
like
it sucked. I mean, it sucked for
it was
him.
arduous.
He spent like what 8 months
8 months actually painting
this
after he
painting
worked out like,
for like 3 years, actually building the place to
Yeah.
do it. Yeah.
Jesus. All right.
Yeah.
All right. When did you move from thinking of yourselves as people who make funny videos to a sketch comedy troupe to a video production crew?
I think it's a gradient.
So I would say one of the big defining moments for Loading Ready Run was Loading Ready Live. We did that in 2006.
Yeah, fringe comedy.
The Fringe Comedy thing, not the streaming. So this live show that we did for the Fringe Comedy in Victoria in 2006. And I think at that point we switched over from, like after that show, we switched from a group of people who made funny videos, or not even just a group of friends who made funny videos, to a sketch comedy, like an actual solid troupe.
And we actually like started meeting regularly.
We started meeting regularly. We actually like said, okay, the 8 of us are the crew. Like we are a crew now. We aren't just like, it's not just like Graham and Paul and whoever else is free, which is kind of how things operated for the first 2.5 years. The switch from a sketch comedy troupe to a video production house, I would say happened.
Well, one of the Office moves, surely.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I would put it sort of around the time when we started working for The Escapist, like
which is also the time when we got the first office.
which is around when we got the first office. But when we started, like when it started to turn into just more than the weekly sketch, like when we started making Unskippable, and then when we moved Loading Ready Run over to The Escapist, and Feed Dump and Fail House was a thing, and Check, or I said the ENN at that point.
Well,
was
yeah,
a
it wasn't
thing,
just like,
and-
hey, let's get together, make a video.
Yeah,
Isn't that funny?
like,
It's
all
just
of a sudden-
we have
and I mean
programming.
when Graham and I started doing
working
it full time.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I would sort of pinpoint the times at that.
And now we've made it.
Yeah, and that
This
was,
is as good as it gets. Now begins the long,
you gonna say something?
gradual, painful descent.
well, I was just going to mention that like I've only joined relatively recently. But
Yep.
Then I realized that I've also been doing this for about 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, it has been a while. Like,
And that, like, after I graduated, my girlfriend and I were talking, and I said that, I really needed to hustle to find work. And she's like, well, I mean, you've got a job right now, and that's something. And I'm like, wait, I do?
I have a job.
Yeah, you work 3 days a week.
Yeah, you
Right? And I mean, that's something you can put on your CV. And
it's
they can
sometimes
tell the
it, like-
job through your entire education.
Yeah, like up until fairly recently, like within the last year or so, this has never really been a job. Even though I've been getting paid to do
Yeah.
work for Loading Ready Run for
does feel a little
for
surreal
years now. But
sometimes.
sometimes it's just like, I came in this morning and I played video games for 4 hours. That's part of my job.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you get to invoice for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I just had no concept that was something.
yeah, it's something that you actually did for work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy says, do you guys play any tabletop games around the office other than Magic? Not really. No.
I mean, we
know.
have the space for it, but I don't think we're really into much stuff like
well,
that.
I mean, like
we have
I
like
historically, yeah.
yeah, like
and like we have played D&D here a few
D&D,
times.
like D&D here a few times. We like many of us have board game collections, but it's just a matter of finding time.
Well,
to
it's
play
also
them
like if we were going to play board games, we would probably do it at Interactivity.
yeah. Well, I mean, or like, there's no reason we can't do it here.
Or
I
at
have
somebody's place.
I have a pretty healthy collection of board games at this point, and they sort of just sit in my closet.
Board
and-
game
and-
night.
I mean, I want to make a board game. Like, I would love to do a board game night. I think we should. Like, even if it's just once a month or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I used to play Warhammer and War Machine.
Yep, I used to play Warhammer as well.
I played Warhammer way back in the day.
Yeah.
Why is the Cam and Alex Super Happy Fun Time Hour not a thing yet? What? I don't know.
Only an hour?
Yeah, only an hour.
Whoa.
Exactly.
I guess we could. I don't know.
People like it when you,
What is the super happy fun time?
I don't know. People like it when you guys stream together. I guess.
I guess it's like it sort of started with that clip from when I was playing Metro, where it's just like,
Oh, yeah.
what do you think that guy's hopes and dreams are? Let's look.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess that sort of like sums up the aesthetic of our stream.
Yeah. Kind of morbid.
Very morbid.
All right, I like this question. What animals would you each want in your own goat simulator type game? I'm gonna just go with monkey.
Chupacabra.
Monkey simulator, person
Oh, actually,
simulator.
a person. Just
Person
like
would be-
Jigglebone.
Yeah.
Just go flailing around.
Kraken.
Ooh,
Yep,
yeah.
that's
Okay,
the
you
one
win.
with all the
I always-
tentacles.
Octopus.
Octopus.
Yeah, I like. I always remember when I was a kid, even because like by the it's one of the end of the world things, right? Is that there's going to be all this fire and brimstone stuff, and the Kraken
Yeah.
is going to come up like on land and start killing people.
Is this
and-
Jormungandr or
I forget which.
I forget the yeah.
I forget what. So, which is like, oh no, that's scary, right? But then when you think about it, like most depictions of a kraken is just like a giant nautilus, basically, like a big sort of squid in a shell, which coming up on land doesn't actually seem that scary. It's kind of from
Yeah.
it's like
How about cockroach?
Wasn't there a game
with the
where you
same
play
like
cockroach?
physics? Yes,
Yeah.
Bad Mojo.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'd have the same like impulse. So you just go up and like antenna people, and they would go spiraling across the map.
Oh.
But I like the idea, or of like playing some sort of large, or some sort of like sea animal. You're just kind of, but you're still
Well, there's whale.
you're still like in a farm though, so you're just kind of trying to work
Yeah.
your way.
Right.
Oh right, you can actually play a whale.
Sandworm.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
So you just roll. Just roll.
all right.
Usula's called a big one.
Let's keep going. We got a bunch more questions and less time than we should have. If you could make it, or if you could have a game made about Loading Ready Run, what would it be called and what would it be about? I have no idea what it would be called. I would love I would love a JRPG based on the moon base and all of us and a quest to do something.
It
like
would
find
probably be an RPG.
yeah, like to find all the filming equipment and like make a video
Yeah,
or
you
whatever.
get like four.
I can
members
see.
together.
I could also see like
Yeah.
like a LucasArts adventure game style thing.
point and click sort of thing.
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
miss kind of thing.
no, more like adventure. Like
Oh,
you're-
like okay, yeah.
like
One
you
of
have
those Scum games.
Yeah,
That
you
would
have
be
like
so
like
funny.
Monkey Island or something. Where you have
Oh,
like
yeah,
a bunch of
yeah.
inventory stuff that you pick up.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Magic packs or whatever you have to pick up, and then you have to use them on things.
It's like you pick up the creepy doll and you can just never put it down. You're just like, I should probably hang on to this. I can't not hang on to this.
turn-based squad tactical game.
No, god damn it.
Trent, James, get behind this hardcover over here.
Yeah.
You done goofed.
Yeah.
Trent has a very good question.
Everybody
because
dies.
I forgot about this. What
Alex
happened
is
to the
panicked.
midpoint year of Lure retrospective podcast?
Is that something we were going to do?
Yeah, like a month ago, we talked about
Womp
doing
womp.
like a halfway through the year, sort of like where we're at.
The short answer is everybody has been like away in different amounts over the last month, basically. So it's kind of hard to get everybody together to
Status
do one.
Busy.
But the other reason is that we forgot.
Yeah, mostly that we forgot.
So overall status functioning as intended?
Yeah, let's start with
So probably sometime in September will be before you can get to that.
No active crisis.
that. Unless we record next week. All right. Will you be using the old school shard names, Necra, etc., the casual jargon, Murica, Rug, etc., or the new ones?
For
Cons of Tarkir.
I think the casual ones are probably going to be hard to shake. It's going to be hard not to call it junk.
Yeah, it's going to be hard not to call it
junk,
Rug and
Rug, Bug.
Bug. Yeah,
Everybody, we're going to call it Bug.
yeah.
Although some of
It's the Bug Clan.
some of the less known ones, like the Red, White, Black, I used to call it Oros. It's like, what is it? Mundungu?
It seems like that'll take a long time to say.
Alex has crashed.
That I could see catching on because like nobody really plays that archetype, and it could be a thing.
Yeah.
I want it to be a thing.
Yeah.
I have a legacy deck that is in those colors. But yeah, like Rug isn't going away. I don't think Junk or Bug.
No,
And
they
I think
aren't.
even Angel Fire is going to be hard to shake.
Yeah, Angel Fire,
Or Team America.
Team
whatever.
America.
Team
Yeah.
America.
All right. Does the Commodore 64 still work? I think it does.
The one we have in the office here does not work.
Oh, it does not work?
No.
All right. Was I too late to ask a question? No, you were not. How much video or how much money do you think you've spent on video equipment alone since 2001? I mean, we haven't really been doing this since 2001. 2003?
Our computers video equipment? I mean, for editing?
If video... Yeah, I mean, if video...
Like the computers in here were purchased specifically for editing.
For editing. A lot.
Well, then they're part of the video equipment, right?
Yeah,
Like, a lot.
more than $10.
More than 10, less than 100,000.
If you knocked over the moon base when each of these components was new, you could
It
probably
might
make
be-
a decent haul.
Yeah, like it might be close to 50,000.
I would think it would be close to 50.
Like the first big purchase for Loading Ready Run was actually the camera that is currently filming it.
Yeah, I was going to say the Sony FX1. And that was a fairly large purchase for us at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still like if we the cost of the Sony FX1 is similar to the cost of the Canon C100, is it not? That we also just bought?
It was about 3,000, I think.
The FX1?
Yeah.
Okay.
But at that time, that was just Graham and I bought it personally.
Pocket money, yeah. Yeah. That was huge. I remember when you guys bought that. I was like, "Holy shit!
Yeah.
Look at this."
In
thing.
fact, you could
Like,
you could figure out when we bought it because there's a video.
There's a
about
video.
it called Now in HD.
Now in HD, we film a
which
little
wasn't
bit
in HD.
at Oak Bay Tea Party. We filmed some of that, right?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the ice bucket challenge?
The what?
Diet or regular? What would you like on the wiki? I don't know what.
So three different
so-
questions.
Ice
So
bucket
so the ice bucket challenge is a thing that's been kind of
It's a-
swirling around the internet and on TV actually the last couple.
It's a
like this
fundraiser
week.
for ALS.
It's a fundraiser for ALS. I can't remember who started it, but the idea is you dump a bucket of ice water on your head, and then you nominate 3 more people to do the same, and they have 24 hours to complete it. And for whatever reason, I don't remember who started it, but I assume whoever did was relatively famous because a lot of very famous people have recorded themselves doing it
Okay.
over the last 2 weeks.
And the idea is that you
Including-
either dump the bucket of water on your head,
or you donate
donate
$100.
donate $100 to ALS.
Okay, because I was
So-
gonna say it's like where does the fundraising come in?
Yeah, so I mean, all of these extremely famous and very rich people, I guarantee you, are dumping water on their head and probably donating, but they're also
It's just basically
it's just giving them promotional stuff.
And
so I mean, like Jimmy Fallon, Tim Cook has done it. Justin Timberlake has done it. Chris Christie has done it.
I'm
a
not
bunch
sure
of different
I
people
understand
have
what
done.
the challenge is.
The challenge is it's just something.
You are
silly.
challenged
You
to
are
do
challenged-
this, or you have to forfeit.
Yeah,
And
it's
the
just.
forfeit
I mean,
is
it's
pay
just. It's
$100.
whenever a celebrity or a well-known person does something silly and posts a video of it online, it's going to go viral, and it's going to raise awareness, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And
Like,
it's from.
it's,
I saw an article today that they have, like, this is the ALS obviously does fundraising every year.
Yeah.
This year, it's something they've raised something like $6 million more than they had last year.
Yeah.
So
Sounds good.
obviously,
Yeah,
it's
it's
working,
working.
Yep.
and it's a it's a good cause. And
So my
seems
thoughts.
fine. I saw somebody complaining that they were wasting water.
Oh my god.
Yeah, sure, I could see it. I mean, they're wasting water and frozen water.
Oh, what a drag.
So, but I feel like that's a fairly minor complaint.
That's a pretty good trade-off.
It's like, okay, you can mail some water to ALS patients, and they'll be like, what the hell is this?
Why is this envelope so
It's like,
soggy?
why do I have a bucket of ice water? I don't want this.
The ALS patient.
I want medicine.
They're not the ones who do the actual.
Yeah. Just nominate 3 people with ALS.
They're just like, can I not?
All right.
Oh, dear.
You got to fork over.
If you're all tapped like sugar maples in the fall, would boiling the sap yield awesome sauce? That's a weird question, dude.
Boiling this. Okay, I think it would be different.
By
for each
sap,
of
you
us.
mean blood?
I think you'd get a sort of like thick black ichor from Cam.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know,
Yeah.
I don't know what you would get out of me. Probably the same stuff, and you'd be really surprised about it because you're like, man, he looks like a really happy tree.
It would taste a little sweeter.
Just a bit, just like
Yeah.
slightest vein. You're just
Yeah.
like, I hate this, but I also like it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, like you would boil the ichor you get out of me, and all of a sudden it would just turn into like, I don't know, like flies.
Wow, that's dark.
I wanted to be. It's like kind of a dark bluish, thick stuff, and you boil it up, and you keep boiling, boil off all the water until it just becomes kind of a, like it'll just kind of a rubbery thing on the bottom of the pot, and then you take that up and roll it up, and it's actually a super bounce ball.
Sweet.
All right.
All an actual rubber tree.
Booga, 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 booga.
If somebody offered you another money question, if somebody offered you $100,000, would you make a full-length hustle movie or Friday Nights movie? Or like, how about? So, okay. So I'm going to reword this question a little bit. If somebody gave us $100,000 and said, you either get this money and you make a movie, or you don't get this money, we're going to take the money
And we're gonna make the.
and we're going to make a movie. Would you rather make a Commodore Hustle movie or a Friday Nights movie?
Hustle.
Ooh, yeah, I think.
Yeah, Hustle.
As fun as Friday Nights is to do, Hustle lets us do our
If
own.
Wizards of the Coast gave us the $100,000,
Yeah.
Then we would have, yeah, then we
Well,
would be
that's,
making
that's
the
the other thing is like we wouldn't have to work within the constraints of magic. And
Sure.
What
Yeah.
would get past their lawyers,
which is fine.
which is fine.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guarantee you, if we made a Commodore Hustle movie, magic would factor in there somewhere
Yeah.
too.
So you get both.
Yeah.
You win either way.
If you were to pick a bending element from Avatar, which would it be? Earth, water, fire, air.
Fire.
Fire.
I just like the conceptual.
you can bend. What would you want to
You
be
can-
able to bend?
Now, I have not watched Avatar, which is gonna like.
The Earth one seemed pretty good.
Well, the Earth seems like it's more useful because like how often do you encounter Earth?
Yeah,
Fair amount.
Can you actually just manipulate fire, or can you create it spontaneously?
you can create it spontaneously.
Okay. I just feel like Earth would maybe be more useful.
Possible.
Like they're all kind of cool.
Yeah,
Like,
they're all real good.
Avatar's a fun show. Start watching it about halfway through the first season.
All right. Last question came from Tim, and he is wondering if we are doing a meetup outside of PAX for people who don't actually have passes to get into PAX. I feel like we kind of stopped doing that about a year ago, just because of the amount of things that we have to do at PAX. But I could be wrong. I know generally the fans have made something happen, and I think anybody who is free will absolutely try to get by. But I kind of feel like we took it off ourselves to try to organize that.
I mean, there's also like impromptu stuff. Like I spent a lot of evenings at PAX in the lobby of the Hilton, just like playing
Yeah.
games and
Oh,
stuff
I mean,
with
and that's
random ass people.
and that's absolutely the thing to do, right? I mean, that's how PAX works. Is after PAX is over for the day, you generally go and you hang out and you play games somewhere.
Yeah, well,
so.
like the joke I always make is PAX would be great if it wasn't for the PAX.
yeah, exactly.
PAX
Get
is a
all
lot
those
of
people.
PAX is a lot of work. but there's a lot of cool people in town for it.
Yep.
And, like the networking. The fact that I get to see all these cool people and hang out with them and do stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
It's
So-
really good.
Yep.
Yeah, if you see us, come say hi.
Come say hi. We will be at PAX. This is we probably won't do another LRRcast before then. So this is your reminder that if you are at PAX, we will be there, and it's going to be
we
sweet.
do.
You should get boat tickets. Yeah. So yeah, that's
Well,
Heard us after this.
Cam and Alex might not be going.
We'll be slow.
they can get there.
Yeah.
That's what walking's
We'll
for.
be walking.
Yeah.
Bicycles are for.
We'll get a rowboat.
Rowboat. That's
Nice.
fair.
Well,
Sounds
just like
good.
these two bleached white skeletons will show up on shore, just like bump gently into the.
No, we'll go by canoe. Just saying like that Kids in the Hall sketch with the two trappers.
Oh, no.
going
Oh
through
yeah,
the
yeah,
office,
yeah, yeah.
Singing Alouette.
After like 10 days, it's just like, stop singing that song.
So you very calmly take the oar and like feed it to the other person.
You just take the oar and drive it through your own chest, and that's when you realize you were already dead. And
It just like
this-
sinks
right.
in like a biscuit. You're like, oh my god.
and
All right.
this is hell.
On that note,
That's how we end this thing. Dear God.
kind of ended on a bit of an existential thing, just like we started.
Yeah, it came full circle.
Yeah.
Feel pretty good about that. Jesus. Thank you guys for tuning in this week.
Yeah, watch out for that crap shot.
Watch out for the crap shot. We will be back in a couple weeks with another edition of the LRRcast.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.